Welcome back to TalkBack. We are with Omer Abdullah. I have a quote here from you, June 30th, 2003, to Business Line, in an article titled, India has weakened itself by going nuclear. You said it says the National Conference President and MP, Mr. Omer Abdullah, says that by going nuclear and talking more than acting, quote unquote, India has weakened itself on Kashmir vis-a-vis Pakistan. We cannot go to war with Pakistan. India has weakened itself by going nuclear. Prior to that, we could defeat Pakistan in a conventional war. Sounds like you're itching for a war.
No, I've stated a fact, and it's true. The nuclear option has, whether for good or for bad, made sure that these two countries will never fight. And let's not forget, we've already had 3 wars, and not every one of them was India's choosing. I think you need to go back to your history books and look at the fact that every time India has fought a war, war has been waged on India. India has not waged war, and therefore it is not we who are itching for a war.
Some people argue otherwise.
Well, it depends on which side of the line you happen to find yourself. But no, I'm not, I would be the last one who would be interested in a war, because whether I like it or not, the majority of that war will probably be fought in my part of the world, and I'd rather avoid that. But yes, by going nuclear, this is the way I saw things, and that was that.
You don't think nuclear deterrence is a good thing?
Sure, as long as it remains a deterrence, but I don't remember your country saying that they won't use theirs first. At least India has been responsible enough to say that we have a no first use policy, and it's only as a deterrence. But I recall your leadership saying, particularly when we were at eyeball to eyeball, that Pakistan does not have a no first use policy, and that if they choose to, they will be the first ones to use one against India.
Pakistan is a smaller country with a smaller army.
That doesn't justify using a nuclear bomb. I mean, how can you justify using a nuclear bomb just on the basis of size?
Times that of
How does that
Pakistan's
matter?
on the other side.
How does size justify the use of a nuclear bomb? I mean, I don't see the logic in that. I mean, the idea is, if you have to use it as a deterrence, then say it's a deterrence and we're not using it for offensive purposes. But to turn around and say that Pakistan's a smaller country and therefore we'll lob a nuclear bomb when we feel like it, that doesn't make much sense to me.
Do you think India has made Pakistan feel a little safer, perhaps, to convince it to sign up to a no first use policy?
I don't see why not. What has India done to damage your interests?
71, perhaps? Remember that?
71 was not the creation of India. I mean, come off it. I mean, as I said, it depends which side of the line you're looking on. And I don't know why we drag ourselves into the past instead of looking towards the future. Yes, we don't have the best of histories. Yes, we haven't been the most trusting neighbors. Sure, we haven't been the best of friends. But you can't pick up India and put it somewhere else. Nor can we pick up Pakistan and relocate it anywhere else on the globe. We are destined to be neighbors so long as this world is in existence. And therefore, I think it's our moral duty to try and step away from the tensions of the past and the suspicions of the past and actually build a relationship of trust and friendship. And to the extent that we can do so by promising not to nuke each other, I see no reason why we shouldn't.
But have you personally helped create an environment for peace? Because I have a quote from you, another one. This is to the BBC in 4 October 2001. And you said, this is what you suggested. India's junior foreign minister, this is when you were the state minister for external affairs, Omer Abdullah told BBC's Question Time yesterday that India should send its forces into Pakistan to destroy terrorist training camps, quote unquote. It does not have to be done overtly, he said. You can do it covertly and destroy these camps, because otherwise bleeding by 1,000 cuts is really not the way to go about it. You are for covert strikes into Pakistani territory.
I was, and there's no denying that. I lived in a state that was being bled by these terrorist camps that I talked about. I had workers that died. You talk about human rights violations. Do my political workers not have rights? When these fellows came across from these camps and slit their throats in the night, dismembered their faces, chopped off their noses, chopped off their ears, cut out their tongues, only because they belonged to the National Conference, did my people not have rights? Did the Kashmiri Pandit population that was chased out of Jammu and Kashmir only because they didn't believe in the Allah that I believe in, did they not have human rights or rights. And therefore, sure, at that time, the relationship between our two countries was such that these were sentiments or expressions of what I believed in and what I felt, and I said it. I mean, you at that time had two countries that were about to go to war with each other. And sure, I was angry, and I think I had every reason to be.
Are you blaming the militancy completely on Pakistan?
No, I'm not. There was an indigenous movement, in as much as the youngsters were angry, and they needed somehow to channel this anger. But we don't grow guns in Jammu and Kashmir. We don't grow grenades in Jammu and Kashmir. We grow apples, we grow almonds, we grow flowers. But I have yet to see a tree that grows AK-47s or grows grenades or claymore mines. Those had to have come from somewhere.
But speaking of, let's talk about your role in this particular statement. You're a Kashmiri politician. You're supposed to be a creator of bridges, one would say, on either side. Because there's some people on the other side who also have affinities with you, but suggesting covert strikes into Pakistani territory.
Circumstances prevail at which you take a position or you do what you have to do in the best interest of your people and your land. General Pervez Musharraf today is seen as the driver of a peace process between India and Pakistan. But this is the same General Pervez Musharraf who planned and executed Kargil after Prime Minister Vajpayee's visit to on the bus where he was received by Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif at that time. But a man who could plan and implement Kargil then becomes a peacemaker, travels to Agra with a peace message, suggests a 4-point formula that doesn't include Security Council resolutions and the right to self-determination. Sure, we all say things at one point in time or the other, which then we either don't follow up on, or we say that, look, at that time this is what we felt, but times have changed, and we would like to be seen as implementers or facilitators of a peace rather than a war. I think that is a right that we as individuals have to determine where we stand. I don't think there are very many people who all their lives have said one thing and stood completely by it, except maybe leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, and I'm certainly no Mahatma Gandhi.
All right, we have to take a short break here. We're talking to Omer Abdullah. You're watching TalkBack. Stay tuned.